Welcome to the Fantasy Aceball podcast. This is your host, Tim Kanak. You can find me on X at Fantasy Aceball. And of course, we've got Doc with us. You can find Doc on the X at Doc Eisenhauer. And ladies, did you miss a show? Doc came on, no shirt on. You missed out. You had to throw a shirt on because he's just swimming in his lake. So we have like maybe one lady watching is like ooh la la, but all the rest of the people are probably guys because it's fantasy baseball. So Doc, how you doing, bud?
Good. Just moved. Yeah, I got just ultimately blessed. Got a private lake in this community, and I'm just drinking it all up. Not literally, but yeah. And Tim is correct. I've been exposing all 4 of my chest hairs. Things are getting pretty serious. And yeah, I was informed by Tim that he doesn't swim in lakes because he will get eaten by an alligator.
Yes, in Florida, do not swim in the lakes. It is scary. There are gators. That's why there are signs at like every golf course that have like beware of gator, which I thought was really cool when I first moved here. And then after I was like, actually, that's pretty not cool because there's way too many gators here. And they're like way overpopulated because nobody wants they're not easy to kill. You have to like shoot them right there. If you've ever watched that show, what was that with the Louisiana boys, the Cajun boys? I can't remember the name of that show. There's a show like 10 years ago where there were these like I don't know if you call them rednecks because they're like New Orleans rednecks, but they've got like they're speaking English, but they have to put subtitles on the bottom because nobody
Cajun or Creole.
Yeah, nobody knows what the hell they're saying, but they're just out in the swamps killing gators. It's like
they're still rednecks. They're just they're just spicy rednecks.
Spicy rednecks, French rednecks. It's like
what
a weird culture, the Cajun culture. It's one of a kind, that's for sure. Live and Let Die, classic movie. If you're a James Bond fan, I love that movie. It's like one of the best. Anyway, I did not get any in-person views, but we did have some cool call-ups. Chase Burns debuted today, and I think he just came out of the game actually in 5 innings, 8 Ks, 0 walks, 3 earned runs, gave up a homer to Ben Rice. Pretty successful debut. Started off with 6 his first 6 outs were all Ks. So pretty sexy debut for Chase Burns, who is my number 1 starting pitcher. Doc, Dynasty. Is he like top 20 already for Dynasty?
I mean, I'd like to see a little bit more, but this is what you want to see, right? Like, it's not an easy task going out there against the Yankees, a storied franchise. So, you got to give kudos where it's due, right? Yeah, I don't like crowning them before before you have to. So let him go out there, earn his keep. Nah, not top 20 yet, but I mean, if he does this once, maybe twice more in the next few games, it's going to be like pretty obvious. Okay, he's here to stay.
Yeah,
I made a crazy trade. Yeah, no, I mean, the fact that he did that against the Yankees, I mean, 3 runs is like, how many innings ago? 4 or 5?
5, but 8 Ks, 0 walks, which like K minus walk in a small sample size is more important than, he gave up a home run. It's like, okay, that could happen to anyone.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's very promising. I traded him away, but it was a crazy trade. Actually, so that's a crazy trade. Yeah, I traded. Is that the same deal or a different deal? I don't know. I kept trading with the same guy, so it's hard to read. It looks like we did Burns for Painter straight up.
Ooh, I don't know about that. Right? That's a little rough. I like Burns better. I think that might be a little rough. But then again, you got the proximity bump for Burns right now.
Well, but that's a crazy thing to say, though, right? It's a crazy thing to say because if we were talking, like, he's still 21 years old, Andrew Painter, right? It's like it's not like he's been around the block. Like if this was his debut, when he was 19 years old, about to make the big leagues, his helium was through the roof, like Burns is right now, and so. He's got a pretty deep arsenal. He's not pitching in the Great American Ballpark as his home park. I don't think it's like a as you can tell by my tone, I don't think it's like a huge difference or anything like that. But I just felt like everyone was doing the recency bias thing, the shiny new toy, and Painter. Everyone's like, yeah, he had his moment. The kid's washed up. No, I think that Painter's probably going to be the Phillies ace for the next 10 years or something like that.
It's a pretty
Whenever
crazy
Wheeler
trade.
starts, it's a very
It's a
crazy trade.
Like that never happens. Like the number 1 for the number 2 starting pitching prospect, probably. So like that's just so interesting. But to your point though, Painter may be safer because he just had TJ. So you'd think like, hey, he's good now. Like Burns hasn't had it yet. Painter did. We're seeing all these high velo guys get hurt. So maybe you got the pain point out of the way, and now you got smooth sailing for the next 5,
if
6,
Burns
7.
gets TJ tomorrow, it's wow, I freaking robbed this guy. It won't be like that right away, but a year from now, everyone's gonna be like, oh, will Burns be the same? It's just pitching, man, pitching. Yeah. 5 years from now, we'll have a better idea.
For sure. Another one of our boys who just talked about on the last pod, Jack Perkins, was just called up to the Athletics, and for God knows whatever reason, they put him in relief. And it's like he pitched 3 innings with 2 strikeouts, 0 walks, 0 earned runs. So that's one hit allowed. So that's pretty solid mass relief inning debut or whatever for Perkins, which I don't understand that. Why are you going to throw him in relief? He's obviously better than like a lot of their crappy rotation, but maybe they just wanted to say, hey, let's just, ease him in here. And maybe next time out he starts, or it's like a bird song thing where they let him, pitch in relief for a month or something, or maybe until the All-Star break. Maybe it's a thing where they're like, hey, let's just let him be in the pen until the All-Star break. At the All-Star break, then we'll kind of transition him into the rotation. So what do you think about Perkins?
Well, I mean, it's something the Cardinals do a lot, right?
Yeah.
Good McGreevy, who's doing whatever right now. But, a lot of these pitchers, they'll come up here. And I think it's not the dumbest thing to do. Get 3 guys out. Okay, get 6 guys out. Okay, get 9 guys out. Just keep ramping it up. It's you can argue the other side of things. It's like, well, you want to keep them stretched out. So I do think it's probably better is to get them in there for the 3 inning kind of deal, 3 innings at a time, which allows you to monitor their their arm as well as exposing them to big leaguers, which are not easy to get out. Like it's a whole new ball game. So I don't hate that. I saw that he was bidding. He was getting bid on in Ottoneu in our league, and I was gonna bid on him, and I've just been so busy with my move. I looked at it. I was like, I honestly don't even know what the state of my team is. So I'm not even gonna make this move, and I don't even know what's going on.
I threw him out. I thought I was gonna get him, and then DVR grabbed him for $2. I thought I was gonna get him.
Saris.
I have no money in that league. I only get $3 to spend, so I have to be very cautious with even the $2 bid versus the $1 bid. So I threw him out there for $1, hoping to snag him, and then boom, DVR. Bah. Tough luck. All right, let's get to the T10. Number 1 on the T10 this week is a guy who's been on this list before, but complete dominance over the last week. It is starting pitcher Jonah Tong with the Mets, Double-A. In 12 2/3 innings, 2 starts, obviously. I don't think he pitched 12 2/3 on 1 start. That'd be pretty cray if he did. 16 Ks, 1 walk, 0.71 ERA, 0.39 whip. So my concern with Tong, because the stuff is obviously ridiculous, insane fastball, is just there's like nothing horizontal here, Doc, in the repertoire. I think we've talked about it before, but he's like fastball, and then he's got a curve. So that's vertical. And then he's got a changeup, which moves slightly, obviously, arm side. But he has like really nothing that goes left or right. Like I really want him to have like a sweeper or like a slider that moves, it's not a gyro slider, like something that moves left and right instead of just up and down is what I would like to see from Tong. But I'm going to pull up his stats here as you talk about him because it's pretty crazy. John Anderson actually updated his minor league dash tabs that I show on the YouTube. If you watch on YouTube at the Tim Kanak, and he updated a new stat onto these tabs, JAERA. And if you listen to his podcast, he talked about it. Basically, JAERA is just Sierra, and Fangraphs doesn't have Sierra for minor leaguers. So this is the only place where you can find Sierra for minor leaguers, which I think Sierra is a better stat than XFIP. So it's pretty cool. But Tong has a friggin' 178 Sierra basically on the season, which is insane.
Yeah, no, that's a good deal, man. Just check that. I think people should check that out. John's a good guy, and I mean, if you can get something that's not on Fangraphs, it's a pretty sweet deal, man. Yeah, I just finally watched that Nolan Gorman home run. I wonder if someone wrote about him in their Sunday Smoke, and everyone said, Nolan Gorman sucks. And I said, well, he doesn't for a couple weeks at a time. Ride that out. Jonathan, I wanted to see how much he's using his. It says on Fangraph, speaking of which, that he has a slider. So you're saying it's more of a north-south offering?
Yes, it's what you would call a gyro slider or a hard slider. What the kids call the gyro slider.
It doesn't look like it's got a good grade anyway, so I'm not the best. Yeah, I mean, hopefully he can figure it out in terms of expanding that arsenal. He's only 22 years old, so there's time. In fact, he just turned 22. He's really young. And so for a guy who was 21 till 6 days ago at Double-A, giving you a 14 K9, just barely over 4 walks per 9. You gotta love the back of the baseball card. 1.75 ERA. Yeah, I mean, I wish he was built a little bit bigger. He's a bit of a slender kind of guy, but it's a profile that people have been hesitant to forgive after going like 9 walks per 9 in 2023. But as I've said before here, I mean, we're now 2 years into a guy who shifted around and somehow figured it out. I wonder what he did, because he went from 9 to 2 walks per 9 at low A the next season. So I'm very curious what was wrong with him.
I think it's just more harnessing the mechanics, because he does have a really funky delivery, and
that's a big harness.
His delivery is super, super over the top. Like nobody else in the minors that I can think of that's a top prospect pitches the same way that he does, except for Savage. It's actually Savage. Welsh called me out on Prospect 1 for mispronouncing Savage. Probably revenge for Wiesenhunt on the podcast, I'm sure. Because he was like with Jeff Ponce, he's like, yeah, Tim Kanak, that's not Savage, it's Savage. You hear what Ponce said? So like, they totally called me out on that one. But Tong has super overtop the delivery, which that type of delivery does get hurt a lot. And you already mentioned he's slight. So I do like Tong more from like a short-term perspective, as like when this guy comes up, like play the card now, because I don't know like how he's going to hold up long-term from a durability standpoint as a 6'1", 180-pound guy with a weird over-the-top delivery that generally results in shoulder injuries. So, yeah, that's Tong. You got anything else on him before we get to T2?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, T2 is first baseman / outfielder Esmerlin Valdez with the Pirates. There's been some good Pirates prospects recently, Doc, but Valdez is having a really good season, like really oddly, we haven't talked about him yet because he's just been very consistent and hasn't really had one of these big weeks until this week. But this last week, 11 for 24 with 8 extra base hits, 4 home runs. And on the season, Valdez is hitting 319, 400, 625. And this is at high A with a 10.5 walk rate, 23.5 K rate, 38 extra base hits, and 19 bombs on the season, Doc. Are you in on Esmerlin Valdez?
I mean, 6'2", 180. He's, basically popping 20 home runs in 66 games. It's got to get you thinking, right? He's 21 years old. This is one of those guys wasn't really on my radar. I bet you he's on a lot of people's radars, though. He has to be. Those are all fun numbers. Now he is at high A.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that might be something holding back the hype train a little bit.
Downfall's the contact rate, man. Only 70% contact rate. So like basically
78?
70. So
7. No, I'm seeing here 7. It must be a little bit bigger sample size. 71.8. That's fine. It's not great, but it's up, and that's what you want to see too. If some guys raw coming from the DSL, So he came into the complex in 2022, like as a kid, 54 the next year. Total was 57 last year, 69. Like, whoa, okay, that's better. And then this year, 71.8, gearing up towards 72, right? We're seeing the steady, there's steady development here. So you don't actually need a miracle. You just need them to keep growing mentally, physically, and getting fine-tuned in the good old US of A with some solid coaches. So it's exciting.
Got that K rate down from 30% to 24. So that's the big difference, really. Because otherwise you might say like, hey, this guy kind of has like a Davison De Los Santos thing going on a little bit, but I think it's not quite there. I think it's better than that. He has a better hit tool. Like the contact rates are better than De Los Santos, and he has done better at getting that or keeping that K rate down. The funny thing is De Los Santos, I think, is also 21 and is doing it at AAA. So that is one thing to note is like Davison De Los Santos is still like way younger than you might think from that side.
Yeah, although his big season was is in PCL.
Yep. You got anything else on Valdez before we go to T3?
Just in terms of like leagues he's available in, he's definitely a pop-up guy. He was taken in one of my 30-man startups this offseason. Like we did 2 startups. One he was taken, the other one he's not. And then my salary cap league, he's not taken. That both those leagues, he's going to have to wait until the next draft to get taken now. But yeah, he's someone who I can see in some other leagues. He is definitely popping up. Keep an eye on him. 7% rostered on Fantrax. He's getting there.
Yeah. T3. That is outfielder Hector Rodriguez, who is 109 in my top 150 rankings for my last update. He went off last week. He's actually been pretty slow for like the last month, but last week, 17 for 30. That's right. 17 hits in 1 week, 6 extra base hits, 3 home runs, 0 stolen bases. So Hector Rodriguez getting some bombs. His first time, I think, homering in like the last, I don't know, like 5 weeks or something. So it's good that he finally did that. But on the season, he's hitting 317, 378, 514 with 25 extra base hits, 10 bombs, 6 steals. Rodriguez is very solid across the board, and he's going to be playing in Great American Small Park. So this is a guy that we should like. Like a lot of the Reds outfielders, Friedel, Fraley, these types of guys, they're all start with F, but besides that, they're all like platoon guys. Hector Rodriguez, I don't think has that concern. So when he comes up, he's a legit outfielder who should get in the middle of a lineup that's going to have Ellie De La Cruz in it and some other good players. So I think that he's a fun name to watch for probably next year, early next year. I would think he'll be up by that point.
Yeah, no, he's this is someone there was a lot of buzz, I feel like a year ago. When was his peak buzz? I feel like I haven't heard his name talked about nearly as much as maybe last offseason going into 24. Is that correct?
I want to say early in the year. I really haven't seen anyone talking about Hector Rodriguez outside of like Ross and I. I feel like
that must have been Ross. Yeah, I've just been exposed to too much Ross.
Ross and I are really the only people I ever see hyping him.
I don't know, but I was just watching a Burley bomb almost go out. It was all the way to the wall. But he's got a good mix of everything, and he seems like he could develop a more sturdy walk rate, which he's doing this year. And we'll find out if that's sustainable, right? This guy, he's 21, so it could be something where he's turning a corner. Plate discipline turned a corner last year, it seems, after some little bit of struggles with contact rates. Down again, folks, for the folks at home, contact rates are kind of like a weird scale, right? If you're a big guy with tons of power, I don't really care as long as you're above 70% contact. But if you're like 5'10", 200, if you're more of like, this gritty baseball player and maybe not freakish raw power or even 30 home run raw power, then I want you to have like 75 and higher would be nice, a good contact rate. So Hector, I don't know what to think about this guy. Yeah, the ballpark could help him out. You don't know with a guy who's like not super proximal. You don't know like if he's going to end up there, but profile's fun. Looks like a ball player.
He's in Double-A. He's not that far away. I mean, he could probably finish the season in
I feel like Sal Stewart has been sitting in like the minors for 10 years. It feels like there's no need for them to really super rush this guy. I think it's going to be like next year for him personally.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see.
I don't know. They just brought Burns up, so who knows what they could. Sal Stewart could be a major leaguer right now with that hit tool, and the rest of the lineup is not that great.
I guess
And they just DFA'd Heimer Candelario, so
if they keep losing, like if they lose enough games, I should say, throughout the season, like yeah, it wouldn't be that surprising to see, I suppose, because you got the Cubs and the Cardinals and the Brewers are up there too. Like it's not going to be an easy division this year. So, I mean, I would say, yeah, I think you're probably right, but yeah, you're going to see Sal Stewart up before him, which could, yeah, I guess we'll have to see how much of a youth movement they're going to go with.
it would be interesting if the Reds traded Friedel. I think that like they have a healthy TJ Friedel. His years of control has to be almost out. And if the Reds are out of it by the deadline, that could be a piece that could get moved. I don't know what they can get for him, but he's been really good this year. So maybe they could move a TJ Friedel and then open up a spot for a guy like Rodriguez, or you move Steer back to the outfield and put Stewart up or something like that. Number 4, this is a Cardinal. So, I love this one. It is outfielder Joshua Baez, who has been balling this whole year. In Double-A now, he was 6 for 13 last week with 4 extra base hits, 3 home runs, and 2 steals. And Doc, this is a guy back in like 2021, 2022. I loved him. Cardinals drafted him in the second round. I was like, oh, this guy's going to be a stud. I think they drafted him the year before Mason Wynn was drafted in the second round. If I have that correct, or it's either the year before or the year after. I can't remember. But he had a pretty bad 2023 and 2024. And then all of a sudden this year, he's completely blown up. He's hitting 316, 407, 544 with a 12.7% walk rate, 23% K rate, 25 extra base hits, 10 bombs, and 26 steals. And it's not like, even though he's been around for a hot minute in the minors, he was drafted out of high school. So he's still got age on his side. And I know the Cardinals have like a lot of outfield depth right now in the minors, but the rest of those guys don't have the tools that Joshua Baez has, who I think like should be ahead of Chase Davis in the Cardinals like outfield minor league depth chart, right? What do you think about Baez?
Yeah, he's someone who wasn't really on my radar, but I'm looking at him. It's interesting. He's stealing a ton, and he's big. 6'3", 6'3", 220. And again, still, barely holding on. He's I think a few days away now. The 28th of June, he'll turn 22. But yeah, he got 26 steals over the minor leagues this year. He's cracking 10 home runs in 58 games. That's toolsy. So he doesn't have this amazing contact rate, but again, that's above 70. And that'll do for now with a tool, the tool shed like that, as some would say. K rate was horrendous last year. It's 35%. Not what you want to see, but it looks like he's making some improvements. And yeah, this is the story of the podcast so far. These guys, this is a bunch of guys who are, they've had some kind of sketchy issues in the past, but they're turning a corner. And maybe your league depth, not everyone plays in the 20 or 30 teamer. At the very least, these are people to put on your radar. But yeah, for the deep leaguers, Joshua Baez, he's long gone. He's long gone in some of my leagues. Oh yeah, this is someone everyone knows about. It's too bad.
He was awesome, man. Like 2022, he had an awesome season. He just like fell off the cliff. He just completely fell off a cliff and then fixed himself. Like it's kind of weird. This is like the classic story of prospect growth is not linear, because he was like a dude, and you're like, oh, this guy's gonna be a stud, and then he sucked for 2 whole years, and you're like, well, that guy sucks. He's done. Like, let me X him off of my entire brain. Like, just remove him. See ya. And then all of a sudden he's back, and you're like, what the hell happened? Like, all of a sudden he's great again.
I love it. Baseball's romantic, man. I can talk about that all day. It's friggin', you could be a 30-year-old to make your MLB debut. It's the only sport like that.
Yeah, for sure. T5 is a guy that we've talked about before. My number 78 player, and I think I've bumped him into like my top 10 starters at this point, because I'm actually doing my starting pitcher rankings and going position by position. I think I've got him like right at 10 or 11 at this point, because he's been so good. But this is Carlos Lagrange with the Yankees. He's in Double-A, huge 6'7" dude, throws 100 miles an hour. So it's like, okay, just talking about Chase Burns, this guy's even bigger, throws just as hard. Okay, that's pretty sweet. This week, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 12 Ks, 2 walks, 169 ERA, .94 WHIP. Lagrange is a name to watch. Like, this is going to be one of these pitchers who I think by the end of the season, as long as like health is maintained, he's going to be like, oh, this guy's really, really freaking good. He should be considered maybe a top 5 starting pitcher. That's how good he's been. Look, you can see his JA ERA, his Sierra is 206 on the season. So it's not quite to the Jonah Tong level, but it's pretty darn close.
Yeah, I mean, what was there to say at this point? He's one of the buzziest prospects out there right now. You got to watch that. Drink a beer, man. I get those burps coming. Whiskey, so much better. But I'm almost out of whiskeys. I'm trying to. It's a hot summer night. 4.7 walks per 9 in the AA so far. That's something to keep an eye on. And so, it's only been 15 innings, but just keep an eye on it. And it's not like I'm making, it's not like that's nothing to be concerned about when we look at 2024. We had a 8 walk per 9, the Jonah Tong story, right? So we will have to see that. We'll have to see, make sure he can keep that at a reasonable level, keep it around 4 walks per 9 or lower, and that's where you want to be at, because it's going to be harder to keep the runs off the board that way, and that's what pitching's all about. But Lagrange, honestly, he's got a good name. It's like a 60, maybe 65 grade name, Carlos Lagrange. Sounds like, it sounds like he should be doing a duet with Rob Thomas of Matchbox 20, called Smooth, because it just reminds me. It's like Carlos Santana's cousin or something. I guess it's because I think of Carlos Santana, but then I also think of Lagrange as the name of a ZZ Top song. And Now that's your analysis on this player, everyone. Hope you did a lot with that information.
And now you have stuck in your head. He also throws 2 sliders. He's old school, man. He doesn't throw a splitter. He doesn't throw a kick change. He throws the classic sweeper. The old school sweeper. Number 6, starting pitcher Henry Baez with the Padres. This is a guy that's new to the list in AA. He's actually had a very, very strong season, and he's fun from he's really good at avoiding runs against, but he doesn't strike a ton of dudes out. So he's probably available in leagues. Henry Baez has a lot of proximity on his side because he's on the 40-man roster for the Padres, who have kind of no depth. So, and he's already in AA. But this week, 5 2/3, 10 Ks, 1 walk, 0 ERA, .53 WHIP on the season in 70 innings. Doc, he has a 206 ERA and 104 WHIP. Only a 16.6 K minus walk rate. That's not because he walks people. He doesn't walk anyone. He just doesn't get a ton of strikeouts. Baez reminds me of Jordan Hicks, man. Like, he has basically like a Jordan Hicks-liked arsenal. Like, he's got a high 90s fastball, a 97-mile-per-hour sinker, which is his best pitch, 50-grade curve. He's got a splitter. So, like, he's just kind of got like this Jordan Hicks-ish thing to him, which hopefully, I think because he's been a starter, he will probably adapt to be more of a starter. I think he's probably like a number 3 or number 4 guy. So, like, with Baez, you might be looking at like best case scenario is like Brian Bayo, or like Jordan Hicks when he was like a good effective starter, but Hicks is all messed up because he was a reliever for so many years. Is what I think you're going to get out of Baez.
Well, I mean, those are just like the least sexy comps I've ever heard in my life. I don't want this guy now.
Jordan Hicks throws 105, man. Come on.
That's cool. How's he at baseball? How's he at, being a...
Hey, 346 Sierra. 346 Sierra, man.
What's he doing right now? Is he back in the bullpen, or he's got dealt, right, to Boston?
Oh yeah, no, he's shipping off to Boston. I don't know what he's doing. He's got to be in the pen. They've got too many guys. There's no way he's starting.
Yeah, exactly. It's like but that's not good. It's like, what's he doing? Like, that's not great. And so hopefully
Bayo's starting.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it just doesn't excite me. But this is hey, you know what though? But this is a pitcher. We keep talking about the walks. If you throw too many walks, it doesn't really matter how much gas you got. You're not going to be a major league caliber kind of guy. And so you look at innings pitched too. That's actually an underrated statistic, innings pitched. So I do love that about him. 126 innings last year is the most underrated stat for a pitcher. It's It's not a fantasy stat unless you play in leagues where it is. I finally did a points league other than CBS mock drafts, and made sure to count innings pitched as a good one, because that's realistic, man. You need those innings eaters, those Miles Michaelis types. Maybe he can be better than that. Or I mean, Michaelis was an all-star. I like to mention that every other podcast. But yeah, it's a low ceiling situation for me. But like for 30 teamers, that's great. Go ahead, get this guy. In fact, let's go see if he's available right now. He's available in this league, 6%. Yeah, he's still getting taken. Gosh, you know what? Y'all are nerds, man. I used to be a nerd. Now I'm busy, so I'm not a nerd. But here's this podcast.
Here's a sexier comp for you, Michael McGreevy, man. He throws a lot of innings. He doesn't give up homers. He never gives up homers, and he doesn't walk many guys. So that's your perfect Ottoneu points guy.
But I don't really like the Padres, so he's not the same.
Yeah, but he's on the 40 man. He's on the 40 man. It's good. It is a good name.
No, that's probably why he's taken.
Yeah, probably.
No, seriously. At the end of the day, I'm dead serious. In deeper leagues, these guys can actually alter the fate of your franchise, because if you're going to get injuries. I have 6 starting pitchers in a 30-teamer right now. I somehow still have 4 starters left. Do the math on a 30-teamer. There's only so many starting pitchers in Major League Baseball right now. Oh wow.
I've got a fun one here for us, Doc. T7 is a guy in the DSL. This is the first DSL guy to make the list this year. It is shortstop Edgar Montero with the Athletics. 6 for 15 this last week, 4 bombs, 1 steal. On the season, it's the DSL, but in 14 games, he's hitting 383, 508, 745. More walks than Ks, 8 extra base hits, 4 bombs, 3 steals, and he's an 18-year-old switch hitting shortstop with a good body and good pedigree too. So Edgar Montero, fun name to watch. What do you got on Edgar Montero, my good sir?
Yeah, I just have no idea what to do with DSL guys for the most part, but hey, yeah, you gotta love that he's some of these guys are gambling. You're like, oh, he's 5'8", 150. He'll probably grow into that. He'll get a little bit bigger, but sometimes they don't. You're like, oh, okay.
6'2", 190, man. He's got build.
6'2", 190.
This is your guy.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. No, these are the guys like Lisbel Diaz. I was interested in him just because. Well, he said you don't have to project too much. He's there. So yeah, that's a guy who. Edgar Montero. I feel like I've heard of this guy. He must be buzzy. I know a lot of some prospect guys will just go nuts. Ross is one of these guys. He'll just grab every DSL kid, hoping he's the next Acuna, and that's a good way to do it, I guess. But he's 0% rostered on Fantrax, so maybe not. Maybe just Ross knows who this guy is, the only league where he's rostered actually is where you have to have. You have a home team, and the Oakland team owns him. So that's bogged down in details. You like this guy? You believe in this guy?
Yeah, for a DSL guy, he's the one name. I searched the whole DSL because I just wanted to get one DSL guy. Because I haven't had a single DSL guy in my weekly articles on Fantasy Pros. I got to get one guy in here. I was like,
I might have to add him in one league.
This is the one guy that I wanted to add.
Geek.
Yeah. Even more than Josue De Jesus, this Edgar Montero has been better so far, at least in DSL. Number 8, T8, is third baseman Luis Suizbel with the Mariners. The Mariners system is just so loaded. This week, 5 for 18. All 5 hits were home runs with a stolen base on the season. And he's a third baseman, by the way. So the Mariners have someone at every position, basically. That's a good prospect. He's hitting 278, 383, 512, 12% walk rate, 23% K rate, 23 extra base hits, 12 bombs, 3 steals. So he's kind of underrated because the Mariners system is so good. I feel like if this guy was in anyone else's system, he'd be getting pumped. But the Mariners, you're like, Montes and Arroyo just went up to AA, and you've got Colt Emerson with a good week, and you got all these guys, and it's like, okay, Luis Suizbel is still pretty good. Harry Ford even is having a good year. So Mariners system is just loaded, but this is not a name to forget.
Yeah, he's got decent, good baseball build. 6'1's a funny height. It's is it tall? Is it not? No, it's good. It's fine. It's good enough. 6'1", 190. Just turned 22. I feel like Seattle will send their arms flying up through the minor leagues, but the bats just feels like they're there forever, right? So I don't know. That would be maybe my hesitant thing with him is just like, is he going to even? And frankly, I don't want the bats to make it to Seattle anyway. I want them to get traded because I don't like that park. So looking at the profile, he had some contact issues before this year. He's coming to his own. He's a 22-year-old at high A. I'm not super excited about him, but I see he's got 60 grade potential raw power. How does it even make sense? How could you have future 60 grade raw power? I don't really know what that means. I think raw power is raw power.
He's gonna get bigger.
I guess is what they're saying, but he's already 22. So yeah, I mean, you're seeing it. 12 home runs in 56 games after 15 home runs at 119 games last year. It's exciting. I mean, it's definitely worth noting. Again, everyone on this list is worth noting. It's the greatest list other than my own lists, which I don't have right now.
Hey, he has a good launch angles. That's one thing I like about this guy. We don't have the data, but I can tell because guess what? He has a 37% fly ball rate, a 25% line drive rate, a 51% pull rate, and a 22% home run to fly ball rate. So that means that he's pulling the ball in the air to success. So knows what he's doing.
Only rostered.
He's
only rostered. Yeah, he's only rostered in 1% of Fantrax. That's surprising. I was trying to. I like to talk guys down if I don't really know much about them because I don't want to have to know about another player. I don't want to have to learn, and so I reject it out of hand. Yeah, well, here's the deal. If he's only 1% owned on Fantrax, yeah, no, flag this guy. That mean he's good. He's better than 1% on Fantrax. I'll tell you what.
For sure. I think this next guy people know, T9, is Tink Hence, who is back, returned to Double-A last week, and tag teamed a no-hitter in his first appearance in Double-A since the injury. 4 1/3 innings, 8 Ks, 1 walk, 0 ERA, 0.23 whip. Obviously, having the 1 walk because the team threw a no-hitter. So Tink Hence, dude, they had these like sexy blue jerseys on. It was a fun game to watch if you want to watch some good highlights. Tink Hence looked like he was like fully back finally because like when he first started coming back when he was in Aceball, he was only throwing like 93, and you're like, what's going on here? But he was back on. So I think Tink is just back now at this point, and hopefully he's a quick mover, man. Like he's been in the minors forever. I know he's still young. He's still only 22, and he's a good kid too. I've talked to him a couple times. So I hope he moves fast. Like I hope they get him to AAA soon, and he's up just, like I hope that because they have Quinn Matthews and they've got Roby now in AAA, they've got all these guys that he doesn't get buried because he deserves. He's good enough. He might have the best stuff out of all those guys. So I just hope he doesn't get buried behind like all this pitching depth that the Cardinals have.
He just looks too skinny. And it's not like and even a tall, skinny guy like Tristan McKenzie, it's tough to make it work, but he's not that tall. He's like 6'1". And so I have a hard time seeing him not as a reliever. And then like, there's been a couple times where I've been like, oh, maybe this is happening. And then he gets hurt again. And so it's the deal, like it's not as extreme, but Grant Taylor with the White Sox, he was like, oh, yeah, we'd like to see you as a starter. Well, we'd like to see you as a starter. We'd like to see you as a starter. And then they realize this guy is running out of, we need to get this. He's good. He's good. Is he going to have a major league career or not? You can put him in the majors right now, and he can throw some stuff. But yeah, and as you're saying with his arsenal, if it really is, filthy, you want that in the Cardinals bullpen, especially if they can stay competitive here. Maybe this is a guy they want to bring up. Of course, the bullpen's okay right now, but it could be better. And like injuries happen, right? So I wouldn't be shocked to see Hence come up potentially as a reliever, maybe as a starter. But yeah, it's just tough because, like you said, there's a bunch of guys ahead of him right now. Roby and Quinn Matthews come to mind.
If the Cardinals wanted to be funny about it, they could like sell and still compete. Because they could just be like, okay, let's trade Helsley, trade Arenado, and trade Fetty. And then all you do is you're like, okay, Quinn Matthews, you're in the rotation now. And we're going to put Roby and Tink Hence up into the bullpen and to make up for Helsley. And Arenado's gone. We got Sajazi back up and playing third now because Herrera's back at DH. So they could sell and then like still somehow compete just because they've got so many guys at like AAA right now that they could backfill.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, yes, but you just know that the clubhouse would not be the same. They love Arenado and all that. It's like it's tough. It's tough. And like, I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I think that would be interesting, but you just know that it would be tricky. You'd have to get lucky and just hope. I don't know the kids. Like sometimes these young guys can have big personalities and be clubhouse personalities. I remember it still blows my mind that like Nolan Gorman is like apparently the most popular guy in the Cardinals clubhouse. I think you told me that.
Yeah, I've talked to a bunch of these guys. So like, cause I obviously like I get it. You know, I go to a bunch of spring games. Tink is like the nicest dude ever, but he's pretty quiet. He's like a quiet guy, but he's really nice. Like that kid was like he was talking to my kids, and my kids are like they're children, so they ask circular questions, and he was just entertaining them for like way too long. As my son kept asking like the same crap over and over.
That's
so
nice.
he's a nice kid, and Quinn Matthews is kind of a goofball. I'll tell you that he's a bit of a goofball talking to him. So number 10, T10 is Colt Emerson with the Mariners. I kind of hinted at that. This last week, 10 for 21, 6 extra base hits, 2 bombs, 1 steal. He's finally done something that we wanted to see. Colt Emerson has a crazy good hit tool, but he has not gotten into this power. He's got a big frame, good hit tool. And you're like, where is the power, man? This guy should be hitting for way more power. We heard in Arizona Fall League how he had like all these doubles, just like a double a game or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, what's he doing now? Well, he finally had a good week, 6 extra base hits this week. And it's put him now at 21 extra base hits on the season, 7 bombs and 5 steals. So like, that's not quite the power you'd want to see. I mean, like we just said, Esmeralda Valdez has 38 extra base hits. So like you would like to see more from Colt Emerson, but I think that like this week is hopefully something to get him on the right track because he has the frame that he should be better than just like a Brendan Donovan or like a Luis Arias that's just going to get a bunch of hits. Like he should be a guy that gets into at least like doubles power.
He's somehow still a teenager. It feels like he's been around longer than that. He's 19 years old still. So we can't be that mad, right? It's frustrating because, you know, we'll sit here and be like, oh yeah, no, it takes a while to tap into power. Yep. Power, home run power can be the last thing to develop. But then like, you know, but then we get these freak kids who come in here and start bashing bombs at that age, and we can forget our own words, right? And so we see Colt Emerson here. He's just doing everything kind of good, like he's getting the job done. I mean, still last year he had a 393 OBP. It's like he's doing it right. I get it. It's boring, right? It's not necessarily what we were thinking we were getting, but I would go ahead and be maybe brazen and say a 19-year-old's performance typically does not indicate his career. Is he going to be Bryce Harper? Obviously not. But this is a guy who he's got the fundamentals down. He's got everything. He's got all the tools to make it happen. It's not a great park again. It's a situation where I'd love to see him moved to a more friendly park long term because clearly he doesn't have, you know, freakish power. But I mean, Fangraphs gives him a 60 future raw power. So we'll see what that looks like long term. I think he's going to be a weird prospect. I think he's going to end up. I mean, best case scenario, he'll end up in like as he gets closer to the big leagues, he'll feel like a Jackson Holiday where people start wondering, oh, is he, you know, a 10 to 12 home run guy or is he a 20 plus guy? It could be anything, right? Is he going to steal a lot of bases? Is he going to steal 10 to 12? You know, it could be any. You're going to get a relatively safe major leaguer, which is a great place to start, especially again in deep leagues. It's like, okay, he's going to make it. What's he going to be like when he gets there? We'll find out.
If he does get traded, just don't trade him to the Rays because I don't want him to become Curtis Mead.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I got some honorable mentions for us here. I'm not even going to number them, but we'll go through them real quick. These are all AAA guys that I think could be up pretty soon, like even before the All-Star break. Definitely, I think before the trade deadline. So we'll go through them real quick. Chase DeLauder is having a really good time now that he's healthy. It's like the guy's never healthy, but This last week, 7 for 19, 3 extra base hits, 2 home runs. DeLauder's obviously really good. It's just a matter of health. Guardians could probably use him. Their outfield ain't so great. So what do you think about DeLauder, Doc? When do you think he's coming up?
Oh, I think we're gonna have to talk about converting him to a reliever because he's not durable. No, he's it's freaking weird, man. Like, when's the last time you had at least Royce Lewis got to the major leagues before he started breaking down repeatedly. Byron Buxton as well, but he just feels like he's going to be that guy, right? I mean, he has shown basically no ability to stay healthy. His numbers are freaky good. So if you're going to get him from someone giving up on him, he's a lefty too, which is nice. He's got all the tools. He's big, he's strong, fast. I think you're going to start seeing he's had a lot of foot injuries, and he had flash stolen base potential before. That's probably it is statistically going away right now, and you would imagine as such, right? Especially, if you want him to stay healthy, just DH the kid, I guess, right? DH him and let him just swing that bat. That honestly, I wonder what they're doing. I'm gonna go look at his fielding real quick. This year's got 5 games DH.
If you like it, my comp for him, let me know. I count him Hunter Pence without the speed, mashed with a lefty Matt Holliday.
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds about right. I mean, the potential's there, but mix in a little bit of Byron Buxton. In terms of health. Central, Royce Lewis.
Next, I've got Alex Freeland with the Dodgers. Michael Conforto has been so bad that there's a good shot that Michael Conforto goes bye-bye soon. But Alex Freeland, the question would be who would come up with the Dodgers. There's Alex Freeland, who last week was 9 for 26, 4 extra base hits, 2 bombs, and 1 steal. And then they've got some guy who's having like the best season, like one of the best seasons in all of minor league baseball this year. What's his name? I think it's Ryan Ward or something. He's like a 27-year-old quadruple A guy. What's his name? Yeah, Ryan Ward. So Ryan Ward, I'll just bring him up real quick, is hitting 302, 393, 571 with 18 bombs and 11 steals as a 27-year-old who's never debuted before. So the question is, if they get rid of Conforto, is it going to be Alex Freeland and they move Mookie Betts or Edman back to the outfield? Or is it this Ryan Ward quadruple A guy who just popped up out of nowhere and is like all of a sudden a baller?
Ryan Ward. I want Ryan Ward. Although, the Dodgers, they don't need this. Some random guy comes out and starts just destroying baseballs. I don't really understand why he hasn't debuted. He's had really good seasons in the minors. He's been hitting over 20 home runs. He hit like 34 last year. 21 the year before that, 27 the year before, 28, then 27. Doesn't look like he's like terrible at hitting the ball either. Where's his contact here? I'm trying to look for it.
74 last year and 80 this year. So
I don't know why
it's actually good this year. Last year is
it's good. It's been fine, and the back of the baseball card's been okay, good enough. I guess I see there's like before this year there was a bit of a more wasn't really taking. He was taking walks, but his OBP just wasn't that nice. That's interesting. Anyway, but I think if you're the Dodgers, you either trade him or bring him up. You got to do something. It's interesting. I remember everyone was freaking out and saying, "Oh, Conforto, deep sleeper." I'm like, I don't know, man. What year is it? I don't think so.
It'll be good since pre-injury on the Mets.
It's unfortunate, but and Freeland, he was pretty buzzy heading into this season. He had 100 runs last year in the minor leagues, which is I feel like you don't see that very often.
He's been good this year still. 16% walk rate, 24% K rate, 33 extra base hits, 10 bombs, and 13 steals. It's a 2020 profile here for Alex Freeland. He's a good player. The Dodgers are they have way too many guys. It's not even fair.
Yeah. Nope. It'll be a solid guy. Probably a solid, maybe not super flashy, but good ball player.
Nathan Church with the Cardinals. This is a name to watch. And I say that because if Jordan Walker continues to do nothing, Nathan Church right now, dude, at AAA. So this season, he's hitting 346, 401, 548 in double and AAA with 8 home runs and 11 steals. And this dude look at this zone contact rate. He's got a 90% contact rate and a 93.5% zone contact rate at AAA this year. So this dude has a freaky good hit tool with a almost 30% line drive rate. And this is what doesn't make sense. Is like, how do you have a 30% line drive rate, but only a 1.5% barrel rate? Like, riddle me that one, Doc. But the guy makes contact. He's like your next version of White Arias, but in the outfield with the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like he's the guy who does. He's not going to be super flashy with the tools necessarily, but I don't know. This year he's kind of looking like he's on. How many levels did he play this year? He started at. I don't know if he was hurt. He must have been hurt because he has some games at low A. It doesn't make any sense. That must have been hurt. Yeah. Did a lot of damage. I mean, he's doing all right though. I mean, his total numbers on the year are 8 home runs, 11 stolen bases in 48 games. That's not like a completely boring guy. He's 5'10", 180. Maybe he's. Whenever I see that kind of guy, I think Spencer Steer when he was coming up. Maybe in terms of his Savant page, yeah, you gotta love that, man. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, you get me interested in him. And he's AAA, almost 25 years old. You're right. I mean, gosh, it's hard to imagine the Cardinals giving up on Walker, but eventually, you got to give this kid a shot. He is 0% owned on Fantrax. So
yeah, they just picked up Garrett Hampson from the Reds. That's not going to last long. He's going to come in, steal a few bags, hit 200. He'll be gone in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. and then if Jordan Walker's still struggling, then you bring up a guy like Nathan Church to pop on in because you know he's going to put bat to ball. Like, you know, he's going to get on base. Sometimes you just want a kid to hit ninth and get on base or whatever. Hit. I guess Victor Scott would be hitting ninth, but you just throw him in the lineup and just, hey, get on base so that Nolan Gorman can drive you in with a Gorman bomb. So 14, or I guess whatever. I got Robert Hassel in the Nationals. He went back down. They had him up, went back down. Since he went down in only 4 games, 9 for 18 with 4 extra base hits, 2 bombs, and 2 steals. So I guess he's pretty motivated to get back to the majors and is tearing it up ever since he went back down. So I don't think it's going to be too long before we see him back up with the big league club. And he's still young. You know, he's like 23 still. So there's still a chance he can do something. Like, it's not like he's a dead guy. So what do you think on Hassel? Like, would you be buying Robert Hassel?
Yeah, he's a former top 10 overall pick. And so, again, it comes down to value. It comes down to price. It doesn't jump off the page to me to buy. But if people are starting to lose hope, yeah, it's worth a shot. He's got the pedigree. I'll see what happens.
Last guy I have on my honorable mentions here for AAA guys is Jacob Marcy with the Marlins. He was part of the trade for Tanner Scott that brought all these Padres guys over to the Marlins. He's got a weird profile, man, but like, it can play in some leagues. Like, it's just super interesting. 224, 364, 376 on the season with a 16% walk rate, under 20% K rate, 19 extra base hits, 7 home runs, and 39 steals. This week, 4 extra base hits, 3 bombs, 2 steals. So like, he has really bad. He, like, for whatever reason, his BABIP is like 240. And like a couple of years ago, he was like a big Arizona Fall League guy. He had a crazy Arizona Fall League, he got a big jump. And then since he's been at the Marlins, just like 200 BABIPs, which is weird for a fast guy. So it's like, what's happening here? Is he just not hitting the ball hard enough that he can't even like, it's like just little dribblers so he can't even get on base or what? Because like, he's like, it's just interesting. If he even had like a 300 BABIP, this would be a guy who should hit like 260 and steal a bunch of bags. So what do you think about Marcy? Is there anything interesting here to you about Jacob Marcy?
Yeah, I'm interested that in 2024, his overall contact percentage was 80.7. And his zone contact was 79.4, which doesn't statistically make sense. But it was because
it means he's out of zone. He was hitting the ball better out of the zone than in.
Well, it was, I think, because AA doesn't count zone, so that just stayed at whatever the AAA was. Anyway, that's something interesting. So this year he's got an 82.5% contact with an 88, almost 89% zone contact. So he's doing what you wanted to do for a fast guy, well, you know, without a lot of pop. I don't think you're gonna see a ton of pop there, although 8 home runs, 10 last. I mean, he had 10 all of last year. He's got 8 now. I still don't think I think 10 would be a nice year for him. He just doesn't seem like he has that slugging ability. That's for sure. Not hitting the ball very hard. But this is a guy where he's got freak of stolen bases, like maybe a taller Caleb Durbin. I don't know. Durbin typically had better. Durbin had the contact rates that you're seeing now from Marcy. So if Marcy can keep these up, yeah, man, that's a major leaguer. So I love it. I love the baseball. It's got different roles for different types. So we'll see what happens. And Marlins, that's a place to get your start. They're going to have some opportunity for you.
Yeah, I think this dude just honestly needs to hit the ball on the ground more. 39% ground ball rate when you're fast. You're almost like, dude, just let it ride. Just hit it on the ground and freaking run. Like, be Justin Crawford a little bit here. You got any huckleberries for us, Doc?
Not at all, bro. I'm gonna friggin' pass. Let me think. Let me see if I can think of one. I was gonna say I'm gonna pass out. Can I think of anyone that I thought was really cool and a huckleberry? Oh, I know I was getting some offers this week. Maybe I'll drop that in there. I was getting some. I got an experts league. I should just rip on all these guys personally. Experts league. And it's a CBS league. And y'all, if you listen to this podcast, a lot of y'all, that's the worst league for offers. Scott White gave me a really good offer in a league we're in. That was maybe this is what we'll do. Otto Kemp for Pedro Pajes. He's competing, and he just had no catcher. You need a catcher in that league. Like it's a score sheet league, which means it simulates. It's like kind of real life, kind of fantasy. It's weird. It takes like the real life stats. Have you heard of score sheet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes the real life stats, but then it like puts it into a simulator. It's like, and it incorporates defense as well. And so he really needed Pedro Pajes. So I traded Pajes for Otto Kemp. I think I win that deal. I'm a rebuilding team.
I like Kemp. I think you win that deal too. Pajes is like a this year guy only because next year Jimmy Crooks is probably going to take his seat. Well, we'll see. I don't know. It depends on how he hits, I guess, the rest of the year. So that's podcast. You can follow Doc on the Twitter at Doc Eisenhauer. Subscribe also to the Dynasty Dingers podcast. And then follow me at Fantasy Aceball and watch on the Tim Kanak. You know, it's weird. We usually on the YouTube get like 40 views or something like that, 20 to 40, 20, 30, 40 views. We get way more listens on this, whatever, the Anchor or whatever it's called, Spotify, whatever they call it now. But the YouTube last week only had like 5 or 10 views or something. I don't know. I didn't share the video. I didn't really realize that many of you have to follow the freaking link on X. You can't just listen on. You just can't go to YouTube on your own. So I guess I have to repost all the link for the YouTube and also for the podcast version. So I'll do that. But hey, it's not that hard to go on YouTube, subscribe, and just watch the video. Like I really have to post it every time. I had like a bunch of views last time when I posted it. This time I didn't post it, and then only 5 people watch. What's going on? Don't you want to see our faces and our beautiful John Anderson from John PGH Sheets on here? So anyway, that's my rant to end it. Peace out. Doc, you got anything to add on that?
Nah, man. I'll see you next time. I'll have way more energy.
Night. Doc on the move.